Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. So, we need to talk about Alberta for a little bit because Alberta is in the news for a few reasons. So, I've already ranted about Jason Kenney before, and I've already ranted about masks and the lack of a mask mandate in Alberta before. But the reason why Alberta's in the news again is because of two main things. One, there was this viral video from a mall in Calgary called the Chinook Mall. And it shows a lot of people, some with masks, many without, and the mall is just packed with people. And of course, this is as Alberta's COVID cases continue to skyrocket, not just rise, skyrocket. And the premier, our version of a governor, still has done next to nothing. And then the second reason why Alberta's in the news is because there was a leaked recording showing that they were basically trying to silence the lead public health expert and top public doctor in Alberta, Dr. Deena Hinshaw. And that's really just par for the course for Alberta. So I wanted to start talking about Alberta, but now I want to move into conservative premiers in general and how they have just completely bungled the pandemic response here in Canada. So aside from Alberta being a goddamn shit show, and Alberta, I swear that province is in need of some kind of nationwide intervention of some kind, like we just need to go in there and help them. That's how it's starting to feel. But across Canada, from Alberta with Jason Kenney to Scott Moe in Saskatchewan, to Brian Pallister in Manitoba, which I think Manitoba right now, per capita, is the worst COVID hotspot in the world right now, per capita. That, of course, may have changed with some news from South Dakota, but it's really bad there. And then we have Ontario, where Toronto and Peel region, which is like right next to Toronto, have now gone into second lockdown. And on top of that, various other parts of Ontario are hovering just around the might have to go into lockdown. And there's also controversy in Ontario about how the grading system for what's allowed to be open is actually not in line with what top public health experts wanted or suggested. It's also been heavily implied that health experts in Ontario are also being silenced. Then there's Quebec, which is still a hotspot led by a fairly conservative premier. And then we also have New Brunswick, good old New Brunswick out in the Maritimes, again, led by a conservative premier, and cases are starting to spike in the Maritimes. And so the former Atlantic Canada bubble, where they were bubbling with each other, that's gone now, ceased to be. So basically, except for the coast, and I guess, if you want to count New Brunswick and Quebec as the coast, the core of the country is being governed by conservative governments. And the response has been absolutely dismal. Hotspots, lockdowns, lack of support. And as some people are rightfully pointing out, hey, since the CERB has ended now and a lot of Canadians can't successfully apply or qualify for the new replacement for it, the CRB, well, how are people going to make ends meet? Oh, we wonder why people are still out and about, and it's holiday season. And the whole situation is a cruel, sad, disgusting joke. And that's where we are right now with supposedly famous, sensible, pragmatic, and logical conservative leadership. This is where it got us, the vast majority of Canadians. Teetering on the brink of a second lockdown, skyrocketing cases, and just a, quite frankly, pissed off populace. This is what it's gotten us. All in the name of the economy, while this continues to negatively impact people and still affect the economy they claim to care about. This is our reality here in Canada now. And it's the reality for people from the prairies to the Maritimes. So it's not just, oh, I'm only picking on one part of the country. It is the vast majority of Canada under Conservative provincial leadership that has completely bungled this response and is continuing to silence scientists and doctors. This is not a good, healthy mix. And the federal government, understandably, is trying to keep a fairly hands-off approach because, well, we don't want to step on provincial jurisdiction too much, especially since these conservative provinces will just use that as, oh, see, the Liberals are overreaching and this is why you need to vote for small government, even though government has just ballooned. So I am very tired of this notion constantly going around that conservatives are practical, pragmatic, sensible. They provide good governance and at an affordable price. And, you know, it just makes things so great. Even outside of the pandemic, this was not the case, but it's just been laid even more bare with the pandemic. And the fact that there are still so many Canadians out there who don't realize that voting Conservative is to vote directly against their own self-interest, health, and safety is definitely what's bothering me today.